Alright, so I actually have 11 replays for you today. Hopefully my commentary on them will be interesting. Um, if there are points where it's kind of dropping out, then I might put music in those sections, whatever. Anyway, yeah, this is the thumbnail for any of you who were or are uh, graphic design or photography students. This might be interesting. I put those lines in there, the rule of third lines in after I just was about to start recording. So, yeah, anyway, on to the replays. First up is against Windwitch Invoked Magispectors, which is just one of the most degenerate decks I could think of. And by degenerate, I mean I don't want to play against it. Like Windwitch Invoke, sure, but Magispectors, why? Anyways, I wanna point out what just happened here. So this is a follow up to my previous video in a way, where I said don't scoot to bad hands. This was I got an opponent that I just went, why? Why is Windwitch Invoked Magispector even a thing you considered? Why would you do this to me? So I was really afraid of the that last backer, which ended up being a torrential. So it was good. I made the call, but yeah, I activated the first Twin Twister, and then activated the second one, discarding a Raigeki for it just to get rid of one card, which already bad plays on my end. Um, However, this forces my opponent to use their Ghost Ash to stop the Solitaire, which puts my opponent and I in an exact mirrored situation. And this is just good for me because, well, I draw a monster. It is Skull Servant, so I summon it and just attack with the 300. So this is kind of an example of, again, just bad plays can be the right play sometimes. Um, so yeah, I draw Fiend Comedian and just attack again. Fiend Comedian's pretty good right now. My opponent has the Snowbell Engrave, so if I had called that properly, then Snowbell would have gotten banished, but I didn't, so I did get 6 mills, which is pretty good in this deck as well. And I got another Fiend Comedian. So my opponent actually set their Ghost Ogre, didn't want to get attacked for that 300, too afraid of that regular Skull Servant, but I am able to Monster Gate into Snow. Anyways, I draw into Instant Fusion, but I decide not to do anything with it. There's not really anything I could go into. So my opponent gets another Solemn Strike, which you'll see those come in, and they Dark Hole the Snow, which Dark Holing Snow, worst thing. And then here's another just terrible summon on my end, normal summon Glow Bulb. My opponent does this, so I activate the Ghost Ogre that gets striked. It's a counter trap though, so I can't respond with Fiend Comedian to banish the Snowball out of the grave. So I try to Snow. My opponent goes and strikes. I decide I'd rather keep the grave resources for later on than stop the Crystal Wing now. So I let the Crystal Wing attack over my Glow Bulb. That was by Glow Bulb's effect as well. So, or no, sorry, I'm using the Glow Bulb now. But my opponent uses the Max C, so I decide, you know what, I'm gonna just take whatever you can throw at me on next turn, which turns out to be that my opponent should be able to attack me with a 3000. However, I am able to dump 15 cards in grave and get that Snow. And I'm able to banish for Snow twice because it would have been negated the first time by Crystal Wing, but then I'm able to actually summon Snow, turning Crystal Wing face down. My opponent decides not to use Wonder Wand. I would have, I don't know what's up with that, but anyway then, I have Black Rose, which clears everything except for the cat, and I'm then able to Mizuki, summon Unizombie, send resources to grave, use the Mizuki, summon White Princess, send more resources, make my own Crystal Wing. Unfortunately, I've already used my Gullet Bulb, and I'm able to then also summon King of Skull Servants, and I activate Level Leader, and my opponent just scoops to that because, you know, I've got game. Anyway, next up is against True Draco. Anyway, so my opponent starts off with 3 field spells, which they use to bait out my Ghost Dash. And then they get the Unmasked Dragon set, which I was wholly unprepared for. My opponent calls 4, I get to summon Formula Synchron here, and get to send 2 Skull Servants to grave. I get Glow Bulb, summon, and I just make a Princess Sprite, which you're going to be seeing a lot of in these replays. I definitely think you should play Princess Sprite in any build of Skull Servants. I just play Princess Sprite. It's great. It'll make weird boards not as bad. Anyway, get White Princess, which is just amazing in the matchup because they have high levels. So yeah, that makes Princess Sprite bigger. Princess Sprite goes down to 16. Pretty much everything else is going to go below that. So that's going to be attacking. Anyway, important thing is she does do levels and ranks. So then I get Unizombie going off up to level 5. I'm able to go into Psyframe Lord Omega here, and then also summon a 5000 King. The King is able to attack, unfortunately because of Draconic Diagram, my opponent gets to keep the Majesty Maiden, and continue adding a bunch of cards to hand. Which seems completely fair in how the game should definitely work. Anyway, then my opponent summons Masterpiece. I lost a win because I just failed and forgot that Masterpiece can't be targeted for whatever reason. Anyway, then my field's clear, so Omega, and I just summon King at 6000. Opponent activates True King's Return. I activate Omega, taking the card they wanted to tribute for because they could have just tributed Revival to summon this. However, I removed that from their hands. So the only thing they could do was tribute both their monsters, including their Masterpiece, and actually get rid of Masterpiece themselves. And then I was able to summon 2 6k King of the Skull Servants and win the game. Alright, so next up, this game is so unfair. Okay, so I'm playing against Synchrons. It might be a junk Doppel build, not sure. But anyway, yeah, I have the Ghost Dash for tuning. Right here, my opponent's like, wow, well, I guess this is going to happen. And I went, well, it's fine. I only have one grass. And then I drew the grass as soon as I had said it. Ah, man. And then, anyway, yeah, grass happens. I summon an 11k King. I use the Mizuki to send more resources to Grave, and then get Unizombie to send even more things, and then I go for Coral Dragon and summon a second 11,000 King. And then, just for the salt, I have Maxi. I also have Ghost Ogre. That was terrible. Anyway, next game is against Sylvans. So this one I actually have Zombie World, but not, yeah. Zombie World just basically is going to make them not be plants, so my opponent actually can't do a lot. But they have the Mushroom, so they've got that. Able to send resources to Grave, use Rose Lover. I decided not to activate Fiend Comedian here because I knew I could deal with the Hermitry with Ghost Ogre. And however, here I don't have another Ghost Ogre, so I go ahead and Fiend Comedian, banish my opponent's Grave. The Ultimate Providence, I just went, whoa, I wasn't ready for that. Yeah, Ultimate Providence, pretty good card, especially in a deck where you've just got, you've got a lot of monsters, you're going to be able to negate monsters. So here I go for the play with Instant Fusion for Thousand Eyes Restrict to take a monster and then overlay into Princess Sprite. So, that's just a really good way to get rid of board. And my opponent gets the Hermitry. All I've got is a Twin Twisters, I can't do anything about that. And I draw the grass. Fusion Sub, of course, return the Thousand Eyes to the extra deck in order to draw another card, so that's pretty helpful. And you'll see why, it just extends this play a ludicrous amount. Anyway, I go ahead into 1300 King of the Skull Servants, but if that wasn't enough, I keep going. My opponent just scoops because I have 3 Mizuki in Grave now. That was dumb. Anyway, this is against a rank 5 deck, and this game's actually pretty interesting. I think it is anyway. I like situations where I get locked down and have to find a way out of it. So, anyway, yeah, here, not too great of first play, but, wow, the grass again. Okay. I actually don't remember this game all too well. My opponent activates the Maxi, so I just go ahead and say, you know what, I've got the Ghost Dash available. I'll just stop. Or no, Ghost Dash only works on discard. Okay. I actually hadn't read Ghost Dash properly, so there you go. Thought I was getting Ghost Dash there. But yeah, anyway, then my opponent gets Pleiades and Tiras, and if that wasn't bad enough, they get rid of my Zombie World so that they can call the Haunted. I get Tails, so I just mill. A pretty unfortunate mills there as well. So then my opponent actually gets into Infinity, Tiras, and Pleiades. So this turn is just me trying to bait this out. So yeah, I go for Mizuki, they activate the Infinity, which I'm like, yes! And then I activate another Mizuki, so I get to summon the Unizombie. get to send to grave, and then I get to send Love Leader from hand, summon, and attack. Now I attack here, trying to bait the Pleiades, which my opponent activates, so I can Bewildering Wind, and I have game. So that game's pretty fast, yep. Next is a pretty one-sided game against Predaplants, and where I have grass again. I know, 60-card deck, right? Just be good at the game. That's all I got. Which I'm not, but you know, or be terrible at the game, I suppose, because I get grass more. Yeah, so then I go for that Monster Gate and get the same level. So I still have level 7, but I go into the King, and yes, I just used a 1300 King for an Omega. Anyway, yeah, so my opponent was able to put a counter on the Omega and tribute it for Hydra, which really sucks. Hydra's like MVP on my opponent's side this game. Anyway, I had Maxi, so that's why my opponent didn't go into a rank 3 there. I go ahead and activate Regeki, summon my King back at 8,000, which would be game if it weren't for Hydra's ability to reduce that damage by 500. So I just go ahead and Twin Twister for the 1, go ahead and get the Snow and Grave. I'll go ahead and activate this. I'm like, my opponent doesn't have anything that can stop this at this point. So, yeah, I go ahead and summon the Clearwing just in case, because Hydra is a level 5, so Clearwing. If Clearwing can't negate that, I don't know Predaplants all too well. I know early Predaplants. Anyway, this time my opponent is playing Phantom Knight Paleozoics, so that's a deck. Anyway, my opponent has the Imperial Order for my reasoning, but I have Twin Twister for it, and also hit Canadia. So that's good, get rid of a Book of Moon there. I don't have all that much, I just go into Formula to start out with. My opponent negates the Formula, and is able to summon Canadia. So, with the resources that I have, I activate Pot, and just really am hoping for a good draw, which I get. I'm able to go into Coral, into Black Rose, and with Black Rose, clear the back row, which I'm glad I did because that was card of demise. And then I'm able to go into Princess Sprite, send a Level Leader there. And now I'm looking at a pretty decent situation, where my opponent doesn't actually have anything to do this turn. I have Solitaire, so I send a Unizombie, activate Solitaire, summon one of my remaining 2 Unizombies to the field. Activate that Unizombie, send Mizuki to summon, and just go into the Omega again. Reduce Omega's level to summon the free Level Leader. Yeah, so I wanted to activate the Omega at start of main phase 1. I was holding A, but, you know, DevPro just didn't let me do it, so I guess whatever, man. I wanted to just do it to entrance to main phase 1, but I guess. Anyway, then that happens, and Phantom Knights. So yeah, Dark Requiem hits the board, and that's a scary thing. Now, I didn't realize he could do the second effect twice per turn. So I just go into Princess Sprite again. I get Allure, get lucky on it, and do actually get a Dark Monster. When it goes into battle phase, I have Lost Wind, so Lost Wind the Dark Requiem. Opponent sets a wrong Magnet Ring. I don't know what the heck the name of this is supposed to be. If it was supposed to be like Negative Magnet Ring, because that would have been a good name, an actually cool name for the card. Long, but cool. Yeah, Konami TCG, what the heck's with your naming system? Like, come on, dude. Or whatever, you know, like, come on. Anyways, I have 2 White Princes set because I have nothing I can do with them, and I just want them in the graveyard. So I set Lady in White, hoping to draw a tuner of some sort, since I, play them. Anyway, just playing the slow game with Princess Sprite, getting rid of these 1x1 blockers, and my opponent is able to go into the Servant Dragon, Dark Rebellion, and then we get some errors because Servant Dragon, I guess. Probably the reason, I don't know. Anyway, I am able to get Mizuki to go into Unizombie, and actually go into Trishula, the best Trishula right here. Go into Trish to banish the Supreme King, the Phantom Knight Breaksword and the Phantom Knight from hand, and then I'm able to level leader and summon King at the 5,000. That puts my opponent down to 800. Unfortunately, not a 6k King. Because the Unizombie Trish wasn't able to attack, so anyway, attack directly, and my opponent's able to block it, so, that happens. But Trish is able to attack at just half the attack because I can style points. And next up we've got Melodious. So if you want to see me get out of Melodious just with their aggravating lock, here we go. Again, sort of like the couple duels earlier, using the True King duel specifically, using my opponent's cards to get out of their own problematic situations. So yeah, I'm just trying to make some fairly standard plays. Just going into Crystal Wing, and then I'm trying to bait things out before I try to make Omega here. So I make the Void Ogre, which is a little bit of a problem. I should have made Omega, but I made the Void Ogre because my opponent does have 2 set cards, and I don't have a hand at the moment. Yeah, and then I go into Draco Necro. At this point, I'm like, it's Melodious. They're gonna be targeting, right? So I don't know Melodious all that well. So if I'm wrong, oh well. Yeah. Anyway, now I have a monster in my hand that I can't do anything with, and Void Ogre is just kind of here. So, that's a thing, but I've still got Crystal Wing. I've still got big monsters on board. It's pretty decent. I set this White Prince hoping my opponent will summon something in attack mode and attack it, so I have Draco Necro alive again. So they don't, so I just flip it into attack mode and go, will you attack it now? And they do. So that lets me send a grave, have a free space, but they have Transmodify to put that monster in defense mode. So I just summon and go into the Black Rose. And then I realize I can't use Black Rose as a second effect because of Diva. Yeah, so that was my bad. But anyways, I've got that at 0, that at 300, that at 300. That is now at 0 because of Draco Necro. I've got 5 monsters, all 2,000 or higher attack stats. I have the Twin Twister, so I go ahead and Twin Twister. The Fiend's Chain is pointless. However, the Call of the Haunted, because of Diva, will remain on the field, allowing me to attack with Draco Necro and everything else, since it can't be destroyed by effects or by battle. So that will allow me to actually attack with everything into this area for game, using my opponent's cards to get out of their own locks. This guy is playing Magnet Warriors, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, my first turn is just pretty much send stuff to grave, activate that, get White Prince, go into Glow Bulb, go into Formula, get the draw and the White Prince effect, get Bewildering Wind, activate that to summon Lady in White. Anyway, I don't have anything in my extra deck during this replay that I can go into. So I just leave it at that. Anyway, it's not all that bad anyway, I guess. But so my opponent will go into the Superconductive Imperium Magnum. Anyway, so Glow Bulb coming in again. I half the attack stat of Imperium Magnum and negate its effect with Lost Wind. And then it's just attack with King of the Skull Servants. Go into Princess Sprite in main phase 2, detach the Glow Bulb, and get Zombie World so I can get rid of Magnet Field, as well as the invulnerability of their Fusion Gate. Activate Fiend Comedian, call it correctly, banish the entire graveyard, which is really important against Magnet Warriors, because that will just not let them do the thing. Anyway, Princess Sprite into Grass again, and have the instant fusion into Zombie Warrior if you missed that. Yep, so there's the Zombie Warrior coming in for a second play. Let me draw the Ghost Ash. Anyway, then I just attack for game. Zombie Warrior putting in play. Getting played there. Anyway, now is against Dinos. So, yep, this deck can be pretty dangerous. So my opponent has Max Z. I negate it because that would super suck for me if my opponent were able to draw more cards. And then I just go into Omega. I get Gamma Sealed. So now this is an interesting situation. However, my opponent chooses to activate Lost World, and I have Ghost Ogre. So they would have been able to get over the Gamma Seal, But now they've given me a monster stronger than what they're able to summon. So there you go. My opponent losing the game on themselves. Man, this game. I'm sorry, my opponent here. I'm sorry. Yeah, this one was in my previous video, but if you didn't see that, that's fine. Here it is. Was it in my previous? Did I upload? Yes, I did. All right. So yeah, this game was my Even if you have a bad hand, don't give up. That was this game. Yeah. So that is as a head zombie roll. These are no longer dragons. My opponent can't play the game. Previous video. There you go. This one is against Chaos Max Blue Eyes. So my opponent puts me in a situation here where they've got Chaos Max, and I pretty much have to summon something stronger because that's the only way over that. However, I believe I chose a different way to do it. Yeah, okay, so I summon Thousand Eyes Restrict to take the White Stone, which my opponent's probably thinking, what the heck? And I go into Trish to get over it. So now I've got this Trishula, but I can't attack, so oh well. My opponent goes Manju, adds another Chaos Max. I draw into Monster Gate, so I decide, you know what, I'm going to go for that instead of actually using Unizombie, which turns out not to be the correct play, but oh well. I get to attack with Trishula either way, so. My opponent has trade-in for the with the Chaos Max to actually go into Alternative and destroy my Trishula. I draw into Grass. Because, you know, halfway through the game, there you go. And I'm able to send 2 White Princes, however, only activate 1. Summon Glowbulb, go into Formula Synchron, go into Coral Dragon, activate Foolish Burial, use Level Eater, activate Mizuki, summon the Unizombie, activate Unizombie, raise his own level by sending Mizuki, and my opponent scoops. Alright, on to the final game. Yeah, so I opened Grass. That's what happens this game. I open Grass and I just do some fancy plays. So I go into Coral Dragon, go Level Eater, activate the Glowbulb, go into Formula Synchron, draw a card. It's Solitaire. I haven't normal summoned yet. Go into Samsara, go ahead and activate Level Eater, go into the Crystal Wing, activate Level Eater again. Go and activate Mizuki to summon Unizombie. Activate the Unizombie here. Send, summon, White Princess, get to send again, go into Omega, activate Level Eater. I don't know why I didn't target Omega here, but anyway, I activated just the Crystal Wing once, but you know, you can just kind of keep doing that. It's funny. Anyway, summon Princess Sprite, send another Mizuki, and my opponent just goes, I can't, and then they scoop. So yep, that is that game. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this post-duel commentary. Till next time.